In this video, I'm going to show you how to make the simplest, yet most essential math animation using Geogebra or Desmos. This simple circular motion animation holds the essence to any cyclic animation, and although it's very simple, there are some details that are very important to become a Geogebra master. So enough talking, and let's Geogebrate. Before we dive into Geogebra, let's quickly remember the parametric equations of a circular motion. You might remember about the trigonometric unit circle and how every point of it is a cosine and sine pair of the angle counterclockwise. So if we want to make the circle have some radius r, we just have to multiply both the coordinates by r. And we will have the general parametric equation of a circular motion. Now, back to Geogebra. To make any kind of basic animations, we have to use the slider tool. You can find it in the Tools window, or make it by writing slider on the algebra window and inserting these parameters. But my favorite way is to just type the name you want for your variable and hit enter. The secret to a basic cyclical animation slider is to set its minimum and maximum to 0 and 2 pi. Also go to its settings and set its repeat mode to increasing. That way, if we set another slider for the radius and define a point P with our parametric equations, using the first slider as an angle, we will have a point in a circular motion because the angle slider is resetting in the same place it finishes. And you can freely alter the radius of the motion.
But that point is moving too slow. How do I change its velocity?
You can alter the speed of the motion here on the slider, but that's the noob way of doing it. So let's learn the Gigachad way of controlling the motion speed. Create another slider V, and setting its limits to 0 and whatever maximum you want. Then go to the angle slider settings and type V in the speed box. And there you go. Now you can alter the velocity of the motion.
Thanks. And how do I make these cool buttons you have there?
To make these buttons, you just have to go to the Tools window and select the button tool. Then click somewhere in the screen and a window like this will appear. Here we set the button's name, and here we have to put the code it will run when you click on it.
But I have no idea how to code.
You may not understand a lot about coding, but that's okay. For now, you can just copy this video. This is the code you have to put in the start button. This one you put in the pause button. And this one you put in the reset button. Keep in mind that Geogebra will keep the button tool activated after the creation of a button. So if you try to move or click anywhere, it will create another button and can be very annoying sometimes. If your button's placement is a mess, just right-click on them and unselect the Fix Object option. Now you can freely alter their position. Now for the cool motion path, we have to use the curve command in the algebra window. In this command, you have to enter 5 inputs: the two parametric equations of x and y, the parametric variable, its minimum, and its maximum. Since we want it to be our circle, just type the same parametric equations as the point P, but change the angle variable to something else. So in the limits, you can set the minimum to 0 and the maximum to our slider angle. That way we will have just a section of the circumference that ends exactly in our point P. Now just left-click on your curve and change its style to whatever you like. And there you go. You made your first cool Geogebra animation. Congratulations! Now to make it in Desmos, it's even easier. Desmos recognizes when you want to add a new slider variable just by typing it. So let's type our parametric equations using a variable different than t. You will see why in a bit. Here we will use r for the radius and phi for the angle. As you can see, Desmos created sliders for both r and phi. Now just set the limits of phi to 0 and 2 pi. Adjust the slider animation to increasing only, and you have your point in circular motion. Now for the motion path. Unlike Geogebra, Desmos recognizes parametric equations if you use the variable t. So if we type the same equation for our point using t instead of phi, Desmos will automatically draw a curve with t going from 0 to 1. Since we want it to finish at out point, just set the upper limit to phi, and there you go. Thank you so much for watching. And for those that stayed until the end, let me give you a bonus. I call it Wiggly circular motion. And by twisting the right parameters, it can turn into a flower shape. I'll show you the equation if you leave a like and subscribe to the channel in return.